Hey everyone, it's Jay here. I wanted to make a video on mental exhaustion in reference to Tourette syndrome. This was actually a request in the comments on one of my previous videos, and I felt I was uniquely able to answer it. I am going to be speaking from... I am going to be speaking just from my perspective, not on behalf of anyone else, because that's all I can really do here. So I find that I am always mentally exhausted, more so towards the evenings, once I get back from work. It's not so bad in the morning, but it does start to build, that mental exhaustion does start to build up pretty quick throughout the day, and then kind of peaks into the night. So part of the reason for that is the fact that I suppress a lot of my tics, and it takes a tremendous amount of effort, as many of you with Tourette's will know. It's not easy to suppress tics. It takes a conscious effort, and you're normally not suppressing just one tic, but multiple tics throughout your whole body simultaneously. So for myself, I work in a fairly physical job, so I handle wires, I handle sharp tools to deal with those wires, I drive between job sites. So I find when I'm handling, for example, tools and wires, I've got to control not just the tics in my hands and my arms, I've got to control any sort of eye tics I have, any neck tics, so I can actually keep my eyes on what I'm doing to prevent injury. So that does take its toll over the course of a day. Beyond that, also if I'm driving from job site to job site, I have tics in my legs, my toes, and my knees. And when I'm driving, I've got to control that so I can drive safely from place to place. So all of this, again, just kind of adds to that exhaustion that builds up and builds up throughout the day. Some other things I do that kind of cause this exhaustion is controlling my vocal tics. And I'll probably do a video on this sometime in the future. What I do with my vocal tics, not a lot of people know this, but a lot of the sounds and things like that you'll hear me make when I'm ticking away, is a lot of those, not all, started off as actual words, echolalia or something along that line, and I've actually had to try to modify the tic to make it, I guess, more manageable, but also less likely to bother people around me. Not that it should matter. I'm always a huge proponent of not having to control your tics in public, yet you guys will know from my previous videos, I do tend to do that all the time. It just makes life easier for me. But when I'm controlling those vocal tics as well, the effort it takes to take something that should be a word and then turn it into a sound or a grunt to be less noticeable is again a tremendous takes a tremendous amount of effort. So those are some of the things that kind of add to my exhaustion. Now, on top of that, you look at the other aspects of Tourette syndrome or Tourette syndrome plus. So I have fairly severe OCD, and trying to deal with these compulsions and obsessions throughout the day is, again, another way that you're just completely exhausted and drained at the end of the day, because it takes, again, a lot of effort to be able to manage these things at times. Now, I guess I'll talk a bit more about my tics. Another thing I do is try to control the tics, not just for for other people, but even if I'm at home, I have to consciously let out the tics that I don't think are going to be injurious to me. So I don't want to get injured. I don't want to get hurt. And some of my tics have already done that to me and caused, it looks like long-term damage. Some of the pain I've been dealing with for years that have come from my tics. So I have to control the ones even when I'm at home, and I finally get to release because no one's around. I still do have to actually control the worst of the tics or control the last movement of the tics that push my body beyond its limits. And that one I'd say would be probably one of the most mentally exhausting, because this is one that I guess the only time I get some sort of reprieve from it is when I go to sleep and I no longer have to try to control anything. So these are things, again, that add to mental exhaustion and kind of cause it. I'm guessing not just for me, but probably for many of you who have to control your vocal tics, your physical tics, aspects of OCD, even attention, even trying to keep focused and pay attention to things can become quite exhausting, especially when you have ADHD. As I have as well. So it does take a lot of effort, and that's kind of what I'm thinking of off the top of my head, or all I could think of off the top of my head right now, to kind of think of the things Tourette's related that does cause a bunch of exhaustion mentally. So you could just imagine controlling tics, controlling vocal tics, trying to modify existing tics, trying to manage aspects of OCD, ADHD, all of this, and doing it simultaneously. I'm sure you can all imagine how draining it can be. Now, enough about what causes it for me, and let's talk about some things I've found that can provide solutions. I know I just said, kind of sleep's the only time you can completely relax, or I can completely relax. But there are other times or other tasks I can do. There are other tasks I can do to somewhat manage the exhaustion to some degree, and that's by trying to take my mind off of the constant focus of trying to manage the tics and everything else I just spoke about. For me, it would be finding tasks that you find enjoyable and allow you to focus. So those tasks are going to be different for everyone depending on your, your proclivities, what you like to do. So for me, some of those things would be reading. I'm an avid reader. I love it. I can't go a day without reading, but I find that when I do get my nose into a book and I start to, after I get into a couple chapters of it and I kind of write in it, I don't have to think so much about controlling a lot of my tics. I still tic. My vocal tics tend to come out a little worse for some weird reason more recently. But in general, it allows me to kind of forget about the vast majority of them while I'm reading. Another thing would be playing guitar. When I play guitar and I get really focused in on it, most of my tics that definitely affect the guitar, my guitar playing, will disappear without me trying to focus on it, and that's just because of the focus I'm putting into the instrument. So this kind of allows me a bit of, a mental reprieve. You don't have to worry about focusing on the tics or anything else, and you can just kind of play. So it does free you up a little bit, or free me up a little bit anyways mentally, so that definitely helps. I don't know, let me know in the comments, what sort of tasks you do and how you kind of manage the mental exhaustion, because I'm really curious, and I think these conversations and the engagement I get from all of you, which has been absolutely amazing, can really help other people coming to this channel to try to find out how to manage various aspects or to learn about various other aspects of Tourette syndrome. So, I like this little community we're building, and you guys have amazing advice when you do give it. So I hope to see any comments and any advice for anyone who has Tourette's and kind of goes through this. Or, if you have a family member or a friend with Tourette's, and, what did they do, or what have they told you that they do to kind of, relieve the stress and the exhaustion from constantly having to control their tics. I would absolutely love to know, and like I said, it may be able to help other people who are coming to this channel to see what's going on, right? So, also, I just wanted to remind you guys to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. And you can also make sure that when I am posting more videos that you're aware of it, and it'll pop up in your alerts, and you can head on over and see what's new over here. So until next time, take care.